Welcome back to Hometown TCG. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Josh.
And I'm John.
And we are back with our series where we are reviewing every hero available in Flesh and Blood. The series was given to us by our community as a result of our community growing and the Fab community growing. So we want to review all the possible heroes. And today, we're talking about Dorinthea.
That's right. Dorinthea is a fun character. When I think of her, I think of attack reactions.
Oh, 100%. Dorinthea just represents the attack reaction in today's game. She also has a really good and reliable weapon.
Yeah, and that weapon, just getting it to go tall is going to be your game plan. So that's just really cool about her. That's her signature thing. She gets this insanely powerful weapon that she gets to use hopefully multiple times a turn.
Absolutely. And a little bit of hometown history. The Dorinthea deck tech, I think, was the first video, might have been the first video, one of the first videos we did on the channel. Yep. So we know our way around Dorinthea. So Dorinthea's keyword in the Welcome to Race set is reprise. What does reprise do?
So reprise means that if your opponent blocks with a card from their hand, then it triggers. So it incentivizes, well, she's doing so much damage that you want to block her, but at the same time, it gets even worse if you do block her.
It de-incentivizes your opponent from using their hand to block, which can be... Oh, it can just be absolutely insane and devastating. She also relies on the phrase "go again," so on the keyword or the key phrase in the game, "go again."
Right, you have to be able to get "go again" so you can use your weapon twice.
Okay.
All right. So now let's look at kind of what her strengths are. What is she great at?
Oh, she's great at me. Dorinthea goes tall, better than anyone else in the game, it seems like. She can go over the top of almost any defense, and with it being attack reaction, she can choose when she goes tall. She can see how her opponent wants to play and be like, I'm going to hold on to this for now.
Yeah, you kind of play a little bit of poker with her. Your opponent has to guess whether you have this attack reaction, whether you have that one. Yeah. So you can always surprise, and you can always go taller.
Yes, it's I call it a surprise attack hero. It's like, oops, one more. One more? One more? Like, how high can you defend? So she's fantastic at that.
Now, her weapon itself, if you hit with it twice on a turn, it gets a +1 counter on it. So
permanently.
Permanently.
Yes.
All right? And these can continue to stack up throughout the game. So if your opponent can't block out your weapon, they're going to keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger, so she can just snowball out of control.
Yeah, if they couldn't block it out at 3 damage, the likelihood they could block it out at base 4 damage, at base 5, it gets less and less likely. I use the term permanently, that those counters can fall off if your opponent is able to block you twice in a row on a turn. If you can't hit at least once, they can block you out, and you can lose those counters.
Yes.
So she does that, and those counters lend to snowballs. She snowballs very, very well, right? Once she gets going, she's even harder and harder to stop for reasons that we just said.
Right. And the other thing, defensively, is that she actually has great armor.
She sits behind so much armor.
Yeah, she can kind of just sit there and soak up some things, use her armor to block some of the stuff, and
important
then just
hit effects, yeah.
keep coming at you with the sword.
Yeah, it's almost like she just stands there in her armor and says, okay, you can hit me because I'm going to hit you harder. It can be a little bit overwhelming. Her strong weapons means that she always has something to do. Even on bad turns, she's got something to do.
So there are times in a game where you have to defend or you're forced to like lose cards from your hand and stuff.
Sure.
So she always has something she can do because of that weapon.
Yes, so she's a very strong character. Like you said, she goes tall very well. She can surprise attack. If you don't know how to defend, she can stomp you. But she's got some areas where she's not as strong, where she doesn't quite shine as bright, and it all comes from the fact that she needs a full hand, right?
Yeah, she has to have 4 to 5 cards to really be effective, to go over the top where you're hitting multiple times with that weapon. And if you don't have your full hand, you're just not going to be able to make that happen. So she does not like to defend with cards from your hand, and that can put you in a weird situation when you have to block hit effects.
Yeah, 100%. She's also vulnerable to your defense reactions, especially your taller defense reactions, which now that Soul Shield and stuff have been introduced, there are more of.
Even more, yeah.
Yeah, so she's, and especially those out of the arsenal not triggering reprise, she is vulnerable to that as well. So like I said, armor and defense reactions from arsenal that don't trigger reprise is also kind of a big weakness for Dorinthea.
Exactly. So her kind of play styles, though.
There are two, yeah.
There are two. Right, so the first one is the Go Tall Super Weapon Focus build, which will be all in on your weapon, getting it as strong as possible.
Lots of attack reactions, lots of trying to push over the top.
which is extremely effective, is the more popular version of the deck. But then there is a more go wide version where you can mix in other attacks as well, right?
Yeah, you can mix in other attacks such as Scar for a Scar, E-Strike, maybe even a Snatch here and there.
Yeah.
And what that weapon does is what that deck does is it makes use of the natural go again that's often applied to her Dawnblade, where you Dawnblade, you have natural go again. However, you can't attack again with Dawnblade unless it hits. You draw out an overblock from your opponent, and then you go over the top with an E-Strike for 7 or something like that, following with your go again.
So what's cool about it is the go wide version is it helps you play those mind games with your opponent. It's that poker type of thing where your opponent thinks you have a bunch of attack reactions, so they block a ton. You don't actually. You really just sidestep it and come in with a different attack.
Yeah, and come in and hit for 7, maybe get them to overblock with their whole hand, and then boom, E-Strike for 7 or E-Strike for 5, and a Snatch to draw a card or something like that. So there's a lot of possibilities there.
Yeah, she has a ton of possibilities, but I think they're all triggered by a few key cards.
Yeah, so Dorinthea staples.
Dorinthea staples.
What are some of them?
Well, one would be Glint the Quicksilver, probably my favorite card. It does a little bit of everything. It blocks, it's a blue, and it gives you go again and draws a card.
As long as you're
insane.
as long as you're able to trigger reprise, you can draw a card off that. If your deck is attack reactions, if you're playing Go Tall Dorinthea, you're going to draw some kind of gas to be able to attack again. And it pairs very well with another staple, Twinning Blade. So, Twinning Blade, spoiler alert, I hated Twinning Blade. I couldn't stand Twinning Blade. But it makes sense when you're playing against people who know how to defend Dorinthea, and you have natural go again on that Dawnblade, you'll get a lot of people blocking out late into the game. Twinning Blade allows you to Dawnblade with some form of natural go again, draw out all of your opponent's defenses, and still attack a second time with Dawnblade with maybe 1 or even 2 attack reactions left.
It's cool because it allows the go tall Dorinthea to sidestep just like a go wide Dorinthea does.
Exactly. In Blitzer and Classic Constructed, it allows you to do it 2 or even 3 times depending on the format.
Yeah.
And that sidestep can feel fantastic if used at the right time. It's a great arsenal target.
Right.
A couple more Dorinthea staples are her specialization.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, her specializations are insane.
They're so good.
The first would be Singing Steel Blade, which is a tutor effect and it adds damage.
Yeah, so tutor effects are rare, right?
We not many in this game.
And Singing Steel Blade.
Yeah. Brute has a bad one, but dude, this is like the best one because plus damage. It's yellow if you have to pitch it, and it tutors another attack reaction. So powerful. It can combo with the 2 previous cards we just mentioned as well.
Yes.
And then her other one is it might be the best card in the game.
I don't know about the best card of the game, but it does feel like it becomes an instant block out turn. It's Steelblade Supremacy, and it says your weapon attacks get +1 this turn, and anytime your weapon hits, you get to draw a card. Well, we talked about why drawing a card in Dorinthea is so valuable, because likely you're going to draw a gas, some kind of attack reaction. It's fantastic. And it buffs your Dawnblade.
It does. It's so good. It makes your opponent, when they see that card come in the field, they take their entire hand and go, block everything.
Yes, they just pretty much lay their hand down. And if you can partner it with an Iron Song Determination, that turn can just feel overwhelming. It feels like there's nothing you can do. Your opponent's going to draw gas. Now, real pro move, Iron Song Determination, Singing Steel Blade, also have a Twinning Blade to be able to attack
3 times.
3 times with Dawnblade.
3
Draw
cards.
3 cards. The gas is insane. So as we said, guys, we're off into Cloud 9. We're theorizing, but this deck goes over the top. It can snowball. Dorinthea is tons of fun. It's actually the first deck I built, and it's great for those of you looking to get into Dorinthea. It's great to teach you about the different phases of combat. Your attack, your defense, your attack reaction, defense reaction. It's a great learning opportunity, and it's a really competitive deck.
Oh, yeah. It's so good in so many assets. It has a bunch of iconic cards. Just a great one to look into, one we've always had fun with.
I've had a blast, yeah. And do you have any closing thoughts?
No. You think she's cool? Check her out.
I think she's cool. I think you should check her out. And guys, she's worth a run in a lot of your games. And if you're looking for someone you want to be competitive and have a ton of fun with, Dorinthea is your warrior for sure. This series is a blast. I'm loving going back to the roots of some of these heroes. Next time we're talking about... we'll keep it a surprise. No spoilers. But until that time, I'm Josh.
And I'm John.
And we'll see you around.